Okay, so hello and welcome back to another Unity tutorial. In this one we're going to be continuing with the FPS series. We're going to continue from last episode where we implemented the ability to pick up ammo, which we've done, and now we're going to implement picking up weapons. We kinda already did that, but now we have to actually build a system for storing the weapon or weapons. For this series I'm actually just going to have it so that the player has one weapon at all times, like a main weapon. Then I might also add, having secondary, or having grenades as well. That'll be definite. But for now, they'll just have one primary weapon, and when you pick a new one up, it drops your current one. If you are holding one, it'll drop it on the floor, and then obviously you can pick that back up and swap it again. So I'll add a drop button, and we'll get that working this time, so we can shoot and then drop our pistol, pick up a sniper, whatever. So I want to start off by thanking my patrons. Thanks to Michael, Norwegian Viking, Paul Robinson, and Phil Bourne for their donations on Patreon this month. If anyone else is able to help and donate to support the community, then link in the description below. But apart from that, thanks. I'm going to say thanks for watching, but that's not the end of the video. So where were we last time? Well, we'd got these cubes, the ammo pickups, to have the iLootable interface, which we set up what happens when we look at it, what happens when we stop looking, and when we interact. So obviously we'll actually overwrite these at some point, but for now we're just going to leave them blank. And then we did it for the gun pickup, but currently there's nothing here. We want now to make, when we interact, we want to be able to actually pick up our gun. So if you go to the ammunition one, notice how we have on the ammunition manager, it's an instance, it's a static class, there's only one of it, and then we call that, and we send which ammunition and how much we're going to add. So we want to do that for the gun, but we're just going to obviously send just a gun, not how many or anything like that. So if we go to our ammunition manager, you'll notice how it's a static class, and then we have the simple singleton start. We need to do that on the weapon handler, if I haven't already now. So we want to have a public static weapon handler. You can do this only for classes that there'll only ever be one of, and generally they're for managers or handlers that you want to be able to call from anywhere without filtering through all the game objects in the scene, so it's more efficient. Public static weapon handler instance, and just like this over here, whoops, wrong one, just like this over here, we just need to have this simple awake method, which when it starts, it will make sure that we're the only one. So if it doesn't exist already, we'll become the instance. If it does already exist, then get rid of us because there's a duplicate. Just saves you from getting problems with static classes, or singletons as they're called. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of this. I mean, we are going to rewrite some of this shooting. Rather than handling the shooting in here, we're going to handle it on the actual guns, and we will get to that in the next few videos, but for this we just want to be able to pick up weapons. Then we can actually improve the whole shooting and attacking mechanic and system for automatic and semi-automatic guns. We will improve that over the next few videos, but for this one we just want the picking up. So currently when I press 1, it gets rid of the foot. This is just a bad system. Obviously when you start off a series and you're prototyping a game, you don't have to make it the best or most sensible way first, because the way you end up finding more sensible and efficient methods is by making the bad ones first and then thinking, oh, that's bad, I should have done it this way, and then you write it better. That's not always the case. If you already know a better way, then obviously that's good, but because I've never created an FPS before, I just think, oh, this makes sense, and then obviously you get further down the line and you want to go back and change it. So currently, yeah, we press 1 and we press 2 and it does that. So let's not have that. Just cut that out. And to be honest, I don't want this right now either. We'll just have the check for shooting thing. That's going to be changed at some point. But what we do here is we set the current gun to gun 0. And this gun list we have, we don't really want that. For now, we just want to store a gun, which is our current gun. And if we pick up a new one, then we drop the current one. So we already have the current gun and reference to the actual game object of it. So we'll tweak that slightly in the next video, but it's good for now. So what do we want to do? Well, not this. There we go. We're happy now. We've got it minimally. This current gun we don't need to set, so we can keep it private. That's fine. All of this is fine. The camera transform. Yeah, okay. What we want to do is we want to go back to our gun pickup, and we want to say on the interact for the gun pickup, weapon handler dot instance dot, and then we'll say pick up gun, and we'll pass in the gun that this stores here, so we can pass that in. Obviously there's no function called that yet, so let's go and write public void pick up gun. it takes in a gun. And when we pick up the gun, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check, do we currently have a gun? So we'll say if current gun is equal to null. So, well, actually, no, sorry, we'll say if it does not equal null. So if we're already holding a gun, what do we want to do? Well, we want to spawn in a weapon drop on the ground so that we can then pick it back up and then replace it with our new one. So we'll say instantiate current gun dot, and then gun prefab. No, guns currently have a gun prefab. See, I need to rewrite some of this, but for now, as I keep saying, it's fine. I just really want to rewrite it, but if I do it now, we'll get too much to do in this video, and we want to keep the videos short and on specific topics. So we currently store a gun prefab, which is what we spawn in as the gun that shoots. But in the last video, we actually made these like prefabs. So you see this gun over here, this pistol pickup, for example. I'm sure I put it somewhere, probably in my prefabs, like the pistol pickup. We want guns to store these as well, so we can spawn these in and pick them back up. They should have a rigid body on as well, just to make it makes more sense. We'll leave the numbers for now. So, and that's a trigger. We want it not to be a trigger because otherwise it'll fall through the ground. Okay, that's fine. Let's apply that prefab. Okay, nice. Let's say now that our guns store a game object gun pickup, which I'll have to set in a second. And what we do is, when we pick up a gun, we spawn the old gun pickup. And we spawn it at our position, and the rotation doesn't matter really. I mean, quaternion.identity is like the default rotation. You could set it to the player's rotation, but it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really matter either way. The rotation doesn't matter as long as the position's right for spawning the gun to drop on the ground. And then below that, I mean, you could also drop it in front of the player by a bit if you wanted to, because it kind of makes sense to. Like if we say our position and then plus transform.forwards, it'll make it go 1 unit forwards, because that's the same as like 100 vector free. So it's going to spawn it a little bit in front of the player, makes sense. And then we will then set our current gun equal to the gun that we're trying to pick up. And we can do the old thing of then saying current gun prefab is equal to instantiate gun prefab. So we then, let's do that together. So we store the current gun and we set its prefab to be, and then we spawn it in our hands, because we're instantiating it and we're setting the parent to us. So transform, which is us because we are the gun holder. That should spawn it on us. And then when we shoot, it says current gun dot. Yeah, okay, so this should work. As I said, I'm going to keep saying this. We will improve the shooting system to be more, well, sensible and smart, because when I first made it, it wasn't the best idea. But now if we go to our pistol, it wants a pickup, so here's the pickup for it. And if we go to the pistol pickup, where's the sniper? Let's just bring that up. Is that just the model for it? Well, let's duplicate the test sniper. Call it like, I'm gonna get into the habit of not doing spaces and just calling. Actually, no, I'll keep with the same naming convention I'm going with here. Test sniper pickup. This will have a gun pickup script on it and a rigid body as well. And we'll set the gun pickup to be, the sniper is what we're adding for it, and then we'll just rotate it, maybe just so it falls on the ground. I don't know. Is that close to the ground? Yeah. Okay. Whoops, I've put it in the ground. No, I haven't. It's just very small. There we go. So now, theoretically, what we should be able to do... Oh, also, yeah, the sniper pickup needs to be a prefab, so we'll go put it with the other ones. So save this as its own prefab, and we'll tell the sniper scriptable object that this pickup is its pickup prefab. So now what should happen is I've pressed play from the wrong scene again. We'll go back to the first scene quickly. The load up scene. Save our scene. So now we should be able to, if I've done everything correctly, we can't shoot, we haven't got any guns. So we go over here, we press E. We need to destroy that when we pick it up, but the point is we can pick it up and shoot. So if we pick this up, we now have ammo for that gun. And now I need to add in a way. Oh, actually, wait, if I pick up the... Oh, the sniper's a trigger, so it's just fallen through the ground. That's cool. Well, let's fix that then. So this prefab obviously should not be a trigger. Let's just make sure to apply that. That's one fix. And as I said, when we pick up the gun, so in the gun pickup script, let me just clean that up a bit. In the gun pickup, when we pick up our gun, we want to then destroy the game object, which is the pickup. We've picked it up, so we can get rid of it. And there we go. Obviously, we'll end up having UI for the current gun we've got and how much ammo, but for now, you press E, we've picked it up, it's in our hands. We can pick up the ammo for it. Whoops. What's going on? Am I pressing the right button? Am I being silly? Oh, I am being silly because I didn't go from the preload scene. I'm being silly. We can't pick up ammo because the ammo system starts in the first scene. I could just make that not be a thing, but the reason why we put stuff in the preload is so that when we go from that to any scene, all the stuff is there. But yeah, we got that. We press E. I know it landed on its like top there, which is quite silly. Also, yeah, I need to when I pick something new up, I need to destroy the old one because I'm currently just spawning more and more guns on top of each other. So, gun weapon handler. When we add a new one, if current gun does not equal null, spawn the current gun's pickup and then destroy the current gun prefab. There we go. So we should be able to go pick this pistol up, and if we pick this up, it then swaps what we've got equipped. We can't shoot, so we need this ammo. So we pick that ammo up, we can shoot. Pick that pistol up, we can start shooting with this now. No, we can't, we haven't got any ammo for it. Start shooting that, swap the gun again, bang bang. And there you go, you can just keep swapping it. The collider for that isn't very good, is it? Apparently the collider, I did it like that, I was a bit silly. I mean, we don't have models still, obviously, that's further down the line, but once we get all the mechanics working, obviously we can start making it look a bit better, but for now I'd say that's working well. So what, we're 13 minutes into this video. So one other thing we could do is we could slightly start to fix the shooting script a bit, like there's some changes I definitely want to make. So if I go to the scripts again, so when we pick up a gun, obviously we say which gun we're picking up and it spawns it. Now currently guns are scriptable objects, but I'm actually thinking of changing that because it makes sense to just have them not as scriptable objects and just have them sit on prefabs, because the problem with them being scriptable objects is we don't actually have like the mono behavior events, void, start, update, whatever. It'd be much nicer if we could handle the shooting inside these scripts rather than passing in like the clicks. It just seems a bit silly, you know, in here doing this. So rather than having an update on the weapon handler saying check for shooting, we'll get rid of that. Rather than having the check for shooting function, we'll get rid of that. And what we want to do is we want to go to the gun class, and I'm going to close everything else, the weapon handler, the gun pickup for now, the ammunition pickup and manager. All we want to have open are the gun scripts. So give that a second. Gun, weapons, and just open these 3 scripts if I can select them all. So this fire rate, we don't want automatic guns to have a fire rate, and I'll explain why. We don't want them to have that last time fired. And to be honest, right now, we don't actually want anything in here. And I'll explain why. And then, yep, same in here, we don't want anything. Let's just clean this up. So these are both empty now. We'll rewrite this logic quite easily. So we don't want these create asset menus because they're not scriptable objects anymore. They're just empty. So this is now a mono behavior, and it's an abstract class. And what abstract class means is that you're not allowed to have anything of this type. So we can't actually put this gun script onto an object because it's abstract. All it means is we declare in here what every gun must have, and then if it's another class that derives from it that isn't abstract, that is just doesn't have abstract there, it means we can be of type that. We don't want anything that's gun, automatic, or semi-automatic. We'll want, I mean, to be honest, for now, we'll keep these non-abstract, but later on we might abstract them away if we add other kinds of guns, like projectile guns at some point, but for now, it's fine. We'll just keep this abstract. So guns will have a name, yeah, a gun prefab for the pickup. Well, they won't have the gun prefab themselves because they will be the prefab, the game object, so we'll get rid of that. We want a pickup, though, to spawn. Then for the stats, they'll use a type, the min and max damage, and the range. Yeah, we'll keep those on here that everything has. And they all have these public virtual functions. So let's just get rid of that. That's silly, we don't want that. Everything can access this fire function. That's good, everything will use that. So that's also good. What I need to do is, I need to say, we can check for update here, so void update. And actually, sorry, no, because the gun class, the 2 automatic and semi-automatics will handle shooting in a different way. So they need to call this fire function differently. So the automatic gun will have, we need the base gun class to have a fire rate, because even semi-automatic guns have a fire rate. So we'll just say public float fire rate, which will be how many shots per second. So obviously a fire rate of 1 means you can fire 1 every second. So what we want to say, we also need to store a private float time of last shot. So we can store privately when we last shot, obviously. So we need to say in the automatic gun, in the update function, let's say, keep in mind in here we have access to all of these things, so that's quite handy. But we need to make this protected if we want to be able to access it from the other class that's derived. The fire rate, that's all public, so that's fine. So every frame on the automatic gun, we then say, we first of all need to check if we press the left mouse button. So if input, and then we need to import Unity, obviously. So if input dot get mouse button down 0 if we've left clicked, then we also want to say if the time that we last fired. So if the time when we last fired, if the current time, subtract that. So time.time is the current time in the game, and last time of shot will be whenever we last shot, so that'll be 0 at the start. So if we take that minus that, if that number, the difference, is greater than 1 over our fire rate, then we can shoot. What that means is, so the fire rate might be like 10, so if you do 1 over 10, you get 10%, so that means you can fire every 0.1 seconds. So if the fire rate's 10, this will be 0.1. So as long as there's been 0.1 of a second gone, then we can fire again. So obviously 10 times a second. So that works. What we want to do is, if we do this, we'll then fire, and then we'll say time of last shot is equal to time.time. So we can then reset this. So the last shot is now our current time. The problem is fire says, oh, we need to pass in a transform. We don't need to do that anymore, to be honest. What we can say is when we initialize this, we pass in the camera pause, or we can even just say on the start, we store a we can store a private camera, or even a private transform, camera transform, and we can just say camera transform is equal to the main camera. We just get that once, and then dot transform, the transform component of it, and then we just there we go. We just replace that. If we go back at some point to our other script, we can probably get rid of a private variable that we don't need anymore, but it's fine. Okay, and then we want to take this code, this update function. So it's automatic, so this is just get mouse button, not get mouse button down. And this one is get mouse button down. And we obviously have to import Unity engine. So just quickly turn off this video now. Let's just have a look. What's this? Okay, gun.gameObject. We want to spawn in the game object of the gun, not the prefab, because the gun script is going to be on an actual prefab anyway, so we can just spawn in the prefab. So that's nice. Give that a second to compile. Just get rid of all these errors. Nice. The weapon handler doesn't need to store the camera's transform anymore. That's nice. We don't need that. Okay, that's simplified a few things, and we can just go and add to our guns. So let's go to, if we go back to our scriptable objects now, you'll notice how guns, they're broken now because we don't need them anymore. We just want to go to our prefabs and say test pistol. So the test pistol now has that was a semi-automatic. So it's a semi-automatic called test pistol, and the gun pickup is the test pistol. Well, no, it isn't. It's the pistol pickup. It uses light ammo and what 10 damage, 20 damage, 20 range. I can't remember what I had for this. How many times per second do I want to be able to fire? I don't know. It's 4. It doesn't matter. People can give me stats if they want to give me stats for it. And then for the test sniper, we'll go for no wait, it was the pistol that was automatic, wasn't it? Yeah, well, test sniper uses heavy ammo. The pickup is the test sniper pickup. The min damage might be like 30, max damage might be 50, range could be 100, I don't know, 50 units. Fire rate once per second. If we should go back to the test pistol, let's make this a go to debug mode, and we can tweak the semi-automatic to be automatic without having to change anything else. Let me go have a check whether this all works then. So can we go out of this, go back to, let me just make sure this isn't broken. We're missing the gun, so we'll say pistol. That's the pistol we're spawning in. Apply. And snipe. Test sniper is the one we are doing for that one. And to make sure the game works, we need to go back to our preload scene, and we should be done. Let's just give it a shot. No pun intended. So pick up the pistol, can't shoot, get the ammo, can shoot, I'm holding it down. Fire rate needs to be a bit faster in my opinion. Get the sniper, probably can't shoot, get the ammo, bang, bang, bang. Obviously only with the fire rate you can shoot, so there we go. That all works, and it's a much better system. So yeah, I hope you liked this video. I'm going to end it off really quickly because we're already 25 minutes into the video. So if you haven't already, leave a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. Give video suggestions below. Say what you want me to cover. I'm going to keep going with this series. It's going pretty well already. But apart from that, thanks for watching and goodbye.